guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So in today's Pick a Leaf reading to honor the changing of the leaves in the fall season, we are going to be finding out what is changing in your life by the end of 2023. So from whatever day you happen to be watching this video until December 31st, 2023. There are 5 readings for you guys to choose from today, so I'm going to show you each of these leaves up close one by one. For today's reading, you can definitely choose multiple. If you do happen to be drawn to more than one option, that is likely a sign that there is a lot changing in your life by the end of this year, so definitely don't limit yourself. Choose any and all that you feel called to. But without further ado, let's get a close-up look at each of your options. Here is leaf number 1. Leaf number 2. Leaf number 3. Leaf number 4. And leaf number 5. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with leaf number 1. Hi number ones, and welcome to your reading all about what is changing in your life before the end of 2023. So here is a full breakdown of the reading that we're going to be doing today. We have this reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. Here on YouTube, of course, we're going to start by seeing what is changing. Then we are going to see how these changes will impact your life and finish off the reading with messages and advice from your higher self. And then in the extended reading, we're going to be getting timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. So this is completely up to you. It can be something we talked about in the reading. It can be something we didn't talk about in the reading. We're just going to get 2 timing predictions for you. And we're also going to take a look at what could influence the timing of these events. What could happen to make things happen sooner, or what could happen to make things later. And then we're also going to answer 2 yes or no questions of your choice, and we're also going to see why that's the answer. So yeah, that's the reading for today. We're going to start with these oracle cards right here, and let's get into it. First off, we have the full moon, and there's 1, 2, 3 on the camera timer as I'm showing you the full moon. We have Neptune with the keyword vision, illusion, and light of hope. Okay, with Neptune here, Pisces energy could be significant. Cancer energy as well, because we do have a moon card. But anyway, let's get into the meanings of these cards. We're starting off with the full moon, which was paired with the number 1, 2, 3 when I was showing it to you guys, holding it up to the camera. What this is making me think is that by the end of this year, there is a significant completion coming to you guys. Something that you have been slowly but surely working towards and making progress. You are finally completing it, and there's a feeling of celebration that comes with this. This could be something that you've been working on for months or even for years, and it's like you finally reached the final stages of it. So it could be like a big creative project that you're finally done, a big essay, a thesis that you are finally finished. Maybe you're finally finished remodeling your home, you're finally finished moving, you finally finished a really long video game. I think you guys get the picture. Something is coming to completion like that, and it's because of your hard work and you have passed all the steps, and now it's time to celebrate. There's also something coming for those of you who have recently found a new interest, that interest is only going to be growing and growing for the rest of this year. So like if there's a new skill that you've been wanting to learn or a new hobby you've been interested in, maybe you have recently become interested in a certain country or learning about a certain culture, maybe you've recently become interested in a certain person or a certain public figure, that interest is only going to be growing and growing, and the emotions that you feel towards that thing might start to grow a little bit more intense, especially with Neptune right beside this. You might start daydreaming a lot about this thing or person, or dreaming more about it at night, or fantasizing more about it. Your feelings are growing. There's also a message that someone's true feelings are coming to light by the end of this year. So if there's someone's feelings that you are confused about, they're going to become very crystal clear by the end of this year. And that could even be your own feelings. You can very much be confused about your own feelings, but you're getting clarity about how you really feel. Or if there's someone else in your life that you just can't seem to understand what their feelings and intentions are, that's all going to be becoming very, very clear. For those of you who are at a fork in the road in your life as well, or there's a decision that you have to make, by the end of this year, it's going to become very clear to you the decision that you have to make. And it's going to be like a surge of very strong emotion that tells you what you need to do. Your emotions will show you like, it has to be this. I have to take this decision. I think something else that is changing by the end of this year is your self-perception. Just looking at this crow who is staring at their reflection in the mirror, skewed perceptions of yourself are going to be falling away so that you can see yourself more accurately, and this is going to give you hope. So this tells me you've been perceiving yourself in some inaccurate ways that have been lowering your self-esteem or your belief in what you can really do. You know, even Neptune can talk about illusion, and, you know, with the full moon, like you're getting a clear vision that's accompanied with strong emotions. It's like there's some stories that you've been telling yourself about who you are, or like how good you are, that have been completely inaccurate. And when those fall away, I do think it's going to be quite an emotional experience. So this is just a very easy example, but let's say this crow has always looked in the mirror and told itself like, I'm ugly, I'm not good enough. And this crow has a very skewed perception of itself, because in fact this crow is absolutely beautiful inside and out. So this crow by the end of this year is realizing the BS of their previous perception, and is just looking in the mirror and being like, wait a minute, I'm actually beautiful. And then maybe the crow starts crying because they're like, I've been telling myself this false story for so long that made me feel like shit about myself. You could also be coming to the realization that some burden you've been carrying was never yours. Something that you've been holding blame for was very much not your fault. It's like false stories are coming off you, and there's an emotional release that comes with that. Some of you guys have also really been underestimating your skills in something, or underestimating your capabilities, and realizing that people who are successfully doing what you want to do, it's not like they're like a different breed of human than you, or they're innately a million times better at something than you. You're just as good as them, or you have just as much potential to get to their level. So like you telling yourself a story of, oh, I'm just not good at that, I'll never be as good as so-and-so, or I'll never be on their level. The BS of those statements is coming to light. Also with illusion, with Neptune, some of you guys could struggle with comparing yourself to others, especially people on the internet, people on social media, where, you know, the images that people portray of themselves and the small fractions of their life that we get to see, they can be heavily curated, they can be heavily edited. And, you know, an easy example of this is like comparing yourself to people who have heavily edited or put filters on their photos and being like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Or like, oh my God, this person's life is amazing. They have the perfect relationship. But behind the scenes, that relationship is in shambles, and you're just comparing yourself to the 1% of happy moments that you see on the internet. There's something like you're realizing the standard that you have been comparing yourself to, or, oh my gosh, or the certain people that you've been comparing yourself to and hurting your self-esteem. It's just all crap, and you're just letting go of that and feeling this weight lifted and starting to really feel hopeful about your future. And I also think that this yellow color of the card, it's making me think of the solar plexus, and you really feeling confident and feeling like you deserve to be here and that you deserve to take up space. So this is a beautiful energy. We're going to get into the tarot now, and we could be further elaborating on these energies, or we could be uncovering some new things. What else does group number 1 need to know about the changes coming their way by the end of this year? We have, oh my gosh, the 2 of water. So that's the 2 of cups, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. So there could be a relationship blossoming for you guys by the end of this year. It's very interesting that we had that message about someone's feelings becoming clear. So you could be gaining some clarity about how you really feel about someone, or gaining clarity about how someone feels about you, and that could be leading to a relationship between the 2 of you. This is a card that indicates reciprocated feelings, a very sweet and harmonious connection. So for those of you who have a person of interest, I do think you're going to be growing closer to them by the end of this year. Or if you don't have someone in mind, this would definitely be indicating like a love interest, a person of interest coming into your life. For those of you who are already in a relationship, there could be a new level of openness and realness with each other that is being unlocked. So we're not embarrassed about anything around our partner anymore. We don't feel the pressure to impress them. We don't feel the pressure to hide our feelings for fear of being a burden. We're just really open and raw and real with each other. And I think that is a change that's going to be long lasting. But there's a relationship that is emerging, or that is growing closer, and that's happening by the end of this year. We have Cancer energy again. It's funny, I felt like mentioning Cancer with this full moon, and then we have Cancer here again. This is specifically Venus in Cancer, but any Cancer placements could be significant. What else does group number 1 need to know? Oh my gosh, this card fell like inwards. It fell onto my chest, onto my heart, and there's 1144 as I'm holding this up. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. Both of these cards can be indicative of a soulmate relationship. So some of you guys could be meeting your soulmate by the end of this year. I think many of you do already know this person, and all this stuff that we've been talking about in terms of like feelings coming to light and gaining clarity and intense emotions coming up. For a lot of you, that could be related to a significant relationship in your life. And now this is Scorpio energy. So all of the water signs have come up: Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Very interesting. You could have a lot of water placements, or this person could, or because these are all the same element, this could also just be indicative of you and someone else having a lot of placements in the same element. So like maybe you're both earth signs, or you both have a lot of fire in your chart, or something like that. But there's definitely a relationship that is growing much more closer, that is growing more intimate, where there's more honesty, and we're allowing more like raw emotion to come through rather than just sweeping things under the rug, pretending like we don't care that much, pretending like everything's okay. And I do think like some of you guys are, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like some kind of emotional outburst or some floodgates are being opened before the end of this year where you're realizing just how much you care about something or just how deep your feelings go. And that realization in itself is a very emotional thing. We could also be realizing that the false perceptions ooh, a crow just flew by while I'm talking about the crow. False perceptions that you have of yourself maybe originated from your childhood, like how your parents treated you or how other kids treated you. And that could explain why it's so emotional when they fall away, because it's like a years long identity that you've carried, a years long burden that you've carried. And you're realizing, I don't need to tell that story about myself anymore. I don't need to perpetuate the mistreatment that I receive from others and like mistreat myself in that way. I can let it go. It's like a huge outburst of emotion and then a huge release that I feel happening for you guys. I'm also just noticing we have 2-6 on this card and then 2-6 here. These could be relevant numbers. Maybe someone is born on the 26th, or you or someone is 26 years of age. There could be a life path 2, a life path 6, something like that. What else? What else does group number 1 need to know about the changes in their life? We have the Knight of Fire, passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. This also makes me think of a confident person. So I love that we've been talking about you like dropping narratives that have crushed your self-esteem and just unapologetically taking up more space and being yourself. We have a sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. I also see this card as someone boldly going after what they want. What I feel intuitively from this is that you're finally getting the confidence that you need to go after a certain opportunity, but there is kind of a deadline, and it feels like an application deadline, honestly. This is a very specific message, but you know, when you're watching this, we're already, assuming it's still 2023 when you're watching this, you're either going to be watching this in November or December. So let's say you are a photographer and you've never really believed in your abilities as a photographer, and you're having this sudden realization like, shit, I'm actually pretty good at this, and being insecure or talking down on myself about my abilities is not helping me at all. And it's okay if I'm not the best, but this negative talk is just completely counterproductive. I have to give myself more grace. I have to give myself more credit and just let myself enjoy things and let myself get better as I go. And yeah, then where was I going with this? Then you're like, you know what? I am going to enter that contest. I am going to submit my work to enter that contest, or I am going to apply for that job. That previously maybe you're like, oh, I'm not good enough for that. You're like, you know what? No, I am going to do it. But then you're like, oh shit, I have to apply. The deadline is December 31st, or like the deadline is the end of this month. Thank God I had this realization while there's still time, but now I gotta scramble and get my application ready. Now I gotta scramble and make my portfolio to submit. It's like you're suddenly getting the burst of confidence that you need to apply for something or to go after a certain opportunity, but by the time you realize there's not that much time yet, so you just have to like go and get it ready. That's like a super specific message. Same energy could be like, oh my God, I just realized I'm in love with, like in Friends, when Ross realizes he's in love with Rachel and he doesn't want her to go, but like she's already on her way to the airport, so he has to like rush to the airport and figure out if there's time for her to get off the plane. It's like that kind of vibe. we're having this epiphany, and then we better act quickly, because like there's not that much time to go and pursue what we finally realize that we want. Speaking of time sensitive things, the battery is about to run out, so I'm gonna just quickly swap that out. Okay, we're back. Yeah, so someone finally getting the confidence to pursue what they want to pursue. This could very well be someone else's energy boldly coming towards you as well. But it's just so interesting. Like, it really mirrors the message of like a sudden burst of emotion informing us of what we really want to do, and then being like, I gotta go for it. So let's get one more card from this deck. One last card for group number one. Anything else they need to know in terms of... Ooh, okay. Changes coming in the rest of this year. We have the 9 of Pentacles and 111 on the camera timer as I'm holding this up, which I can't help but think, like, if I hadn't swapped the battery and restarted recording, it wouldn't be 111. So you were meant to see that number with this 9 of Pentacles. Enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, and successful self-employment. So some stress in your career is going to be fading away. So I don't know, what are you stressed about in your career? Is there too much workload? Are you stressed because you can't find a job? Are you stressed about your financial situation? Are you stressed about your self-run business not picking up? Whatever it is that you are stressed about, those stresses are going to be fading away because the situation is changing. So it's not like, oh, I'm not stressed about that anymore because I just stopped caring. It's actually the very thing that was making you stressed is changing. I don't know why I worded it in such a confusing way, but basically, if you were stressing about your financial situation is improving. If you're stressing that your business is not picking up, your business is picking up. If you're stressing because you're getting too much of a workload, your workload is lightening. Basically, you are having a more peaceful time at work, and I'm hearing you're having an easier time at making money. And things are settled with your work and finances so that you don't have to be worrying about them in your personal time. You worry about work when you're at work, and then when it's over, like, all the loose ends are tied up, everything's taken care of, so I don't have to be stressing about work when I'm cooking dinner, when I'm doing my workout, when I'm hanging out with my friend, when I'm cleaning my house, when I'm snuggling with my dog and my significant other. Like, that's the last thing on my mind. The work stresses are the last thing on my mind because they don't exist. Like, your career and finances is just becoming so peaceful so that you can enjoy a well-rounded life and enjoy other things. Something that you created could also be suddenly earning you income, or suddenly earning you a lot more income. So like a product you've created, a piece of work that you've put out into the world, an idea that you've put out there, content, you get the picture. It's starting to make you money, or the money that it's making you is like suddenly surging. And I think there's a piece of advice from your spirit guides to, yes, be smart with this money, you know, save a good chunk of it, put a good chunk of it away, but also make sure that you reward yourself and celebrate your success. Because that positive reinforcement you give yourself, it will make it more likely for you to repeat this in the future. Yeah, something good's definitely coming in your career, especially for those of you who are like self-employed or who want to be. There's good news coming your way. So for the last part of this reading, we're going to take a look at these oracle cards to get some messages and advice from your higher self. You value your own voice. You feel heard by those you love while you protect your energy and boundaries. I love that. This is the realization of, yes, you deserve to be here. You deserve to speak your truth. You deserve to take up space. We also have close the chapter. So I really think that the chapter that this card is referring to is your pain. Like the pain, wait, what am I trying to say? Your painful memories and the impact that that has had on you. Your fear that you've had, the fear that you've had to come out of your shell, the fear that you've had to take up space, the fear that you've had to go after what you want because of your past pain. We are closing the curtain on those painful past chapters so that they don't interfere with you moving forward. We have all is necessary. Without darkness, there is no light. Like a lotus flower, you can grow from the mud and bloom in the dark. You are not the crap that happened to you in your past. You can grow from this mud. The lotus is such a beautiful symbolism because it grows through all of this mud and gunk and it comes out like clean. It comes out pristine. It's like you don't have to carry that burden from your past anymore. You don't have to carry that shame, and you don't have to let your past determine the person you are going to become. And I don't think this means you're definitely not like acting like nothing ever happened. You're just taking the lessons and taking the growth and the clarity about who you want to become, and you're leaving the rest. And then we also have a Thera-pets card for some words of advice and encouragement. Oh, it says, you're strong, smart, and you got this. Yeah, for a lot of you, like there's something you're about to pursue. There's an opportunity you're about to go after that is kind of scary because like you've told yourself for a long time that you're not good at it, or like there's other people who are much better than you, so you don't deserve it, but you're going for it. And you're realizing you don't have to be the smartest in the world to deserve something or to be good at something. You don't have to be the best in the world at it. Like that's an unfair pressure to put on yourself. And you could be realizing like there's people who are less qualified than you, less talented than you. That's not a judgment, but just that they are. But they're out there succeeding and doing what you want to do because they don't doubt themselves. And you deserve to also not doubt yourself. Yes, so these are all of the messages so far. We're going to take it over to the extended now, where we will get timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. So any event we talked about in this reading or that we didn't talk about, it's completely up to you. But if you're curious to know when anything is going to happen, we'll get 2 timing predictions for you in the extended. We'll see what could possibly influence this timing. So is there anything that could make things happen sooner or that could make them happen later? And then we're also going to answer 2 yes or no questions of your choice and why. Yes or no and why. So if that sounds good to you and you'd like to join me in the extended, that's going to be linked down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also choose topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, group number 1, and I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading directly or indirectly, sending love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 2s, and welcome to your reading all about what is changing in your life by the end of 2023. So here is the full breakdown of today's reading. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. So here on YouTube, of course, we're going to see what is changing and how these changes will impact your life. And we're also going to get some messages and advice from your higher self. And then in the extended reading, we will get a specific timing prediction for 2 events of your choice. We will probably talk about a lot of things in this reading, so I'm specifying it to the 2 events that you are most curious about, and we'll get like a range from when to when they could be happening and see what could influence this timing. So is it possible that it happens sooner? Is it possible that it happens later? And what could influence that? And then we're also going to answer yes or no and why to 2 questions of your choice. And for these yes or no questions, it can be about something we spoke about in this reading, but it could be something completely unrelated. Like it's literally whatever you want. So yeah, that's the reading for today. And let's get started with these oracle cards to see what is changing for you. So to start off, we have Taurus. We have the 10th house with authority. Gifts. And focus, concentration, and the keyword focusing the mind. Okay, I just want to quickly mention, obviously we have Taurus energy here, and the 10th house, this could be referring to Capricorn energy. So you could have Taurus or Capricorn placements, or a Taurus or Capricorn is going to be significant to you. But anyway, let's get into the meaning of these cards. I love these 2 cards together because this tells me that there is some stability or security coming in your career. It feels like things are settling down, things are becoming more predictable, and things are becoming more consistent for you. So a few examples of this energy would be like you're finally getting a full-time position secured, or you're getting a regular salary secured. Maybe before your schedule was kind of all over the place, but now you have a work schedule that is predictable, is from this time to that time. Perhaps you were feeling some instability or insecurity because you weren't sure if you were going to get enough shifts to make the money that you needed to make. And now you have shifts that are secured for you. You can count on, I'm going to get this work, I'm going to make this money. This could also be like for those of you who have your own business, perhaps sales were really unpredictable. So like 1 month you would do really well, and then another month you would have no sales. And so it's like your income was super inconsistent, and that could have been a source of stress for you. Like, I don't know if I'm going to make enough this month. And there's just a feeling of things stabilizing in like the hours that you work, in your revenue, so that you always know that you're going to have enough, that you don't have to worry about like going without or anything like that. It could also be maybe you had really weird hours. So like sometimes you would get called in at the middle of the night, or you would get called in at the last minute, and you never knew when you were going to have to work. And like that could have been stressful as well. And now it's like, okay, I'm working at the same time every day, so I know that I can make plans. I know that I'm not going to be working on weekends, so I can actually like make plans to do stuff. I know that I'm going to be able to sleep through the night without interruption because I'm not going to randomly get called in. It's just like things becoming stable and predictable in a really nice way in your work. I hope that that makes sense. I also think with this 10th house and authority, For many of you, there could be a promotion coming to you by the end of this year, because the 10th house does make me think about your status is increasing, your reputation is increasing. So, you know, you're leveling up. You're leveling up in your position. You could also be getting some positive attention or positive press about what you are doing. More people could be hearing about you, especially because we have the number 21 here, which is making me think of the World card. And that can often talk about being accomplished, being celebrated, being popular, and having a lot of eyes on you. So that paired with this 10th house, you could be getting your name out there. You could be becoming better known in the industry that you're in, enjoying a positive reputation. You could be having a lot of like positive reviews to your business, or a lot of people are like recommending your services to people they know. So you could be noticing like more customers coming in because people have been speaking positively about you. For those of you who are social media creators, this could also be you, your follower count is growing, or your engagement is growing, or you're being featured on a page that is significantly bigger than you, and that's bringing like more traffic to you. I'm also hearing some of you, you're enjoying more mainstream success. I don't really know what that means, but like maybe you were, you know, more known in a certain niche and now you're more known by the general public. That kind of seems like a specific message, but the message of enjoying more mainstream success was coming through. Definitely you're going to have consistent money coming in like we spoke about. We have gifts as well. So this makes me think of, yes, you being compensated for the work that you're doing and then some. So you could be receiving like really generous tips in the rest of this year, or you could be receiving a physical gift that is really, really helpful to you. Even Taurus, having to do with material things. If there's some item or some equipment that would make doing your job a lot easier, you could be receiving that by the end of this year. Like it will be gifted to you. So for example, someone could get you a new computer that runs faster, that has more memory, that has more processing power, and that makes doing your job a lot easier. Someone could be gifting you like a bike or a car or something that helps you get to work more easily. I think you get the picture. Like you are receiving for free some item or equipment that will really help you in your job. I also think that there's a change happening in your physical body, especially when it comes to the amount of energy that you have and the amount of focus that you have. I think by the end of this year, you'll be noticing an improvement in your physical energy and in your mental clarity. If you're somewhere where it's getting colder now, in this time of year, and that's usually something that you struggle with, I think you'll notice that this year it's not affecting you as much. So like if you know, when the days get shorter, maybe you tend to get more tired or your mood is lower with the changing of the seasons. I think that you're going to notice this year it's not affecting you at all, or it's just not affecting you as badly as it normally does, and you're enjoying more like physical vitality and mental clarity. There could also be like travel that is happening for you by the end of this year, or travel plans are being secured, like they're being set in place by the end of this year. And also like this gifts message with the message of the world with that number 21, you could be receiving a really cool souvenir, which I don't know how significant that is, but someone could be bringing you like a gift from their travels that is really meaningful to you. But I also think this gifts card is referring to you being able to utilize your gifts, like utilize your talents in the work that you do and do something that is really rewarding, and you being able to focus on what you really want to, because you don't have to worry about surviving. You don't have to worry about making ends meet. Like that is taken care of. So you can focus on developing your gifts. Maybe you can like invest in a course or invest in training that you've really wanted to, invest in like software that you've really been wanting to get that's going to help your career or help you express yourself in the way that you want to. It's like, I feel like so much of your mental energy was maybe going towards like, how am I gonna how am I going to make enough money? How am I going to make rent? How am I going to take care of my family? And it's like, you don't have to worry about those things anymore. You can focus on things like, how am I going to develop my talents? What projects do I want to work on next? Like, what do I actually want to prioritize? So I think that's a really beautiful blessing that is coming in for you guys. So with that, let's get into the tarot. I think this could also be you guys really getting a laser focus on your next goals and feeling excited for the year to come, because this is like the end of the year, right? Okay, what else does group number 2 need to know in terms of changes coming in the rest of this year? Ooh, we have the Queen of Fire, which is the Queen of Wands. Confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Yeah, the fact that we have the 10th house, which is like a pinnacle, it's you being like on top of the world. And then we have a queen. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. You are definitely moving up in your career. You're definitely reaching a higher position, and there's going to be a lot of positive attention on you, whether that is just, you know, people in your workplace are giving you a lot of positive recognition, or people in your field at large, or even like the general public is giving you attention. Because for some of you, there was that very specific message about enjoying mainstream success. So, you know, not just being known in your niche, but like there's a very specific message coming through that you will be recognized, like you'll be approached and recognized in public. I don't think that's going to resonate for everyone, but I think it's happened to me like twice in my whole life. But I've just been like out and about and someone's like, are you KINO Tarot? And I'm like, yes. It's so weird, but like something like that might happen to you because you're definitely becoming more known and more renowned for what you do. And there's a big boost in confidence that is coming with that. What else? Changes coming for group number 2 in the rest of this year. You could be traveling to go to a convention that has to do with like what you're interested in, some kind of convention or a meetup, a networking event. You could also be traveling to see an artist that inspires you, or to see someone perform, or to see someone speak, like give a speech, give a presentation, someone that you look up to. If you have like a public figure or an artist that you're a fan of, you could be going to a meet and greet of this person by the end of this year. You could even be bumping into them on the street by the end of this year. That's going to be probably for like 1 or 2 of you, because I know that's a really rare occurrence. Or like buying the tickets to go see this person by the end of this year. You're also, some of you are making a decision. You're making a decision about a significant change in your physical appearance. It's weird. It's not coming through that the change is happening by the end of this year, but the decision is being made. So like, let's say you were considering getting a tattoo. It's like you'll decide by the end of this year if you actually want to go through with it or not. Or like you'll find the tattoo artist that you want to go to, or like decide what you want the design to be, what part of your body. Like you're firming up those plans by the end of this year. You're making the decision. Or like maybe you were thinking about bleaching your hair or cutting your hair really short or doing some kind of cosmetic procedure. And it's like, you know, that's something quite big and significant, right? So it's like by the end of this year, you're either deciding for sure I'm gonna do it or deciding for sure I'm not gonna do it. And if you decide that you are gonna do it, then I see you, you know, finding the right artist or the right doctor to do it. Like maybe you're making the reservation. Like plans around whether or not we change our appearance seem to be firming up. We have the 8 of Air, an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. So as you are receiving more attention, it does look like you're experiencing a little bit of self-doubt. I think that that's normal. I don't want to normalize it too much and be like, you should feel that way, but it's definitely not weird to feel this way, to feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. But you know what, actually, looking at the image in this card, I think for a lot of you, rather than imposter syndrome, this is actually feeling weird about standing out. Because, you know, you look at this, what do you call it? This unicorn set apart from the pack, and all of the unicorns are staring at them. So for example, let's say that you became famous. Like this is just a hypothetical example to like, what am I trying to say? A hypothetical example to illustrate this energy. It could be that you're loving it. Like you're loving the recognition that you're receiving. You love your job. You love that you have this beautiful audience, that you have this beautiful fan base that you can share your work with. But then you might feel kind of awkward when you go to hang out with your friend group, because it's like, I hope they don't think that I'm like stuck up now, or I hope, like, I don't want to come across as a show off to my friends. Or maybe you're feeling uncomfortable because you're like, I don't know how much I can relate to their life anymore. I feel like the odd one out. Like it just feels awkward. I think it's coming through. Like for a lot of you, it's less about the attention that you're receiving from your audience or from your fans or like from the people in your field. And it's more about just feeling hyper self-conscious of how do the people in my life perceive me now? Because I definitely stand out as doing something unique and doing something impressive. Like I know what I've done is impressive, but I hope they know that I'm still me and I'm still humble and I'm not like viewing myself any differently or viewing them any differently. There's like a weird vibe with your social circle that you feel uncomfortable about standing out in your family or standing out in your friend group because of the things that you're doing out in the world. Very interesting. So it's just a little bit of discomfort, and hopefully like you'll get used to it. But like, for example, you could go to a family reunion and like everyone's just asking about you and what you're doing and how exciting it is. And you're like, like we can talk about something else. Like, I'm sure everyone else is doing cool things too. It's like that kind of vibe. It's a feeling of being singled out and standing out. And I guess it makes sense for this to be an end of year energy, because I know a lot of people in a lot of parts of the world have like family gatherings around the end of the year. There's a lot of holidays. We have the 7 of Air. Plans that need revision, more going on than meets the eye, poor timing. This can also be a card that talks about like inauthenticity or wearing a mask. So maybe some of you are actually dealing with imposter syndrome. And this is also making me think of you getting attention on social media, or like your social media presence is growing, and just kind of dealing with the positives and negatives about that, because like there's pros and cons to everything. But you could notice people, you know, as many people as there are watching you, that's how many versions of you exist, because everyone has their idea of who you are, and people might project certain things onto you. And you know, it's just a lot to It's a lot to deal with, and this could be happening on a small scale. It could be happening on a big scale. It's like there's someone who, like, let's say you got promoted. Maybe there's a couple coworkers who are like, oh, group number 2 thinks that they're better than us now, or people are just projecting weird things onto you because of how you're leveling up. And I feel like that could be something that's kind of uncomfortable for you. It's interesting too that we have like plans that need revision, more going on that meets the eye, poor timing, because we were talking about, there was a few messages about making plans or solidifying plans. We talked about making travel plans, making plans to go see an artist, making plans to go to a meet and greet, making plans to change your physical appearance. There was a lot about like making plans and firming up plans. So the fact that this card is appearing, there may be some things that you want to think twice about, or that you want to, or that you end up deciding against doing because of some truth that comes out, you know? Like, so just a couple examples. Maybe you were thinking of getting a cosmetic procedure, but then you start to hear about some bad experiences that people had, and then you're like, oh, never mind, I need to at least think a little bit more about this. Or you were gonna go to a meet and greet, and then you find out something about that artist and you're like, I don't know if I vibe with them anymore. Like, some truth could be coming out that makes you rethink some plans you have, is the vibe for this 7 of Swords. And let's get one more. Oh, and I should mention, because I mentioned we had Taurus, Capricorn energy, we also have Gemini and Aquarius energy. And then we have life experience. So this is actually the Tower card. And it says, a significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. So you have that message twice. You have spread your wings and stretch your wings and fly. I think you're realizing that despite these mental challenges that may be presenting themselves, you can't let these stop you from reaching your highest heights, from reaching your full potential. You can't let that stop you from shining your light and being as successful as you want to be. These little uncomfortable feelings sometimes, they might be in your ear trying to convince you to hide away and just stop what you're doing, but you must keep flying and you must keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there was a message in group number 1 about this as well, about like taking up as much space as you want and recognizing that you're worthy to take up space. And you know what's interesting? What I always find interesting about this Tower card is that this tower is not falling apart, but we're leaving it behind anyway. So, you know, a lot of the time the Tower talks about this thing in our life that is falling apart, but it's actually a blessing in disguise. This tower is falling apart because it's not meant to be in our life anymore, and it wasn't built on a solid foundation in the first place, and we're moving on to better things. And this one, I feel like this is equally scary. Well, I don't know. I can't sit here and compare everyone's tower moments. They're all scary. But this can be very scary too. Leaving behind a tower that is perfectly fine. Like, it's one thing if you have, like, let's say you have a really, really bad job and then you leave that job or you lose that job. Like, yes, that is still very scary because you're losing some form of security in your life, but there's also that feeling of a blessing in disguise. Like, that job was shit anyway, and I'm on to better things now. But if you have a job that's pretty good, but you still have that calling in you to leave it for bigger and better things, that's also very scary, because there's going to be that voice in your head that's like, are you crazy? Like, you have a perfectly good job. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What do you mean there's bigger and better things? You're making a mistake. Go back. It's comfortable there. It's secure there. There's like, if you're waiting for a tower to fall down as a sign that it's time to move on, the tower is not going to fall down. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to have to take that action on your own. It's like some of you have been like, if I'm supposed to move on, show me a sign, universe. Like, show me a sign that this situation is not good for me. But the universe keeps showing you like, nope, things are fine. Like, things are pretty okay. And it's like, it has to be something within you that is like, I'm not going to settle for pretty fine. I'm not going to settle for just okay. Because something inside of me is saying there's bigger and better things. And so we have to stretch our wings and fly away from this tower that is pretty okay. That is actually not falling apart, but maybe doesn't have everything we want it to have. You know, it's much easier to fly away from a tower that's literally on fire, that's literally a dumpster fire, and be like, yeah, that was a good choice. That's good riddance. Than to be like, I don't know, I'm just gonna venture out and leave this perfectly good tower because I'm feeling called to, and just see what there is. I think you guys get the picture, but that's also, I think, a decision that's going to be made by the end of this year. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot the last part of this reading. We are finishing off this reading by getting some messages and advice from your higher self. So first we have, you are loved. All the love you send out into the universe comes back to you in so many ways. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. Write yourself a love letter, make a gratitude list, revisit an old hobby that makes you smile. You deserve these simple yet effective acts of self-love. And I also think this is a reason, like, this is even more reason to shine your light, because so many people would benefit from the love that you exude, from the love that you pour into your craft, from the love that emanates out of you into the world. There's so many people who will feel that love from you, that will feel inspired, that will have their mood lifted by your light being shined. You dimming your light does not help you, and it does not help anyone else. We also have, I am in charge of my own happiness. We have, I am safe in my arms. I care for myself like no one else. So this, I am in charge of my own happiness. It's your higher self wants you to feel safe in that, wants you to trust in your ability to make yourself happy, not for this to feel like a scary responsibility, like, oh, your happiness is out there and it's on you to go find it, but to feel safe in that knowing and feel trusting in your own ability to bring that happiness to yourself. And 143 on the camera timer, which is like the numbers for I love you, like I love you has 1, 4, and 3 letters. That's a message from your higher self for sure. And then your final card for messages of encouragement. Don't focus on success or failure, just focus on effort. Focus on trying. Okay, my group number 2s, these are all the messages I have for you, so I'm gonna end your reading here. We are gonna take it over to the extended now, so we are gonna get timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. So the 2 things that you're maybe most curious about from what we spoke about in this reading, we'll see a window, like from when to when it's likely to happen, and we'll see what could make this window sooner or what could make it later. And then we're gonna get 2 answers to yes or no questions of your choice, yes or no and why. We're gonna answer 2 of those questions for you. And for the yes or no, it can be about something we covered in this reading, or it could be something completely unrelated, totally up to you. So if you would like to join me in the extended, that is gonna be linked down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. However, if you're gonna leave this reading here, I wanna say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you could watch dozens of exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. You can also choose topics for future videos. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, group number 2, and I'm sending lots of love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading, either directly or indirectly. I'm sending love to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, your higher self, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s, and welcome to your reading all about what is changing in your life by the end of 2023. So here is the full breakdown of our reading today. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. Here on YouTube, of course, we're going to see what is changing for you and how these changes will impact your life. And we're also going to get some messages and advice from your higher self. And then in the extended reading, we will get timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. We're probably going to talk about a lot of different events throughout this reading, so I'm specifying 2 events. This could be like the ones that you're most curious to know about. We will see when specifically they're going to be happening, and we're also going to see what could influence the timing of these events. Is there something that could make them happen faster or make them happen slower? And then we are going to get 2 yes or no answers to questions of your choice and why. So for these questions, it can have to do with something we talked about in the reading, or it can be something completely unrelated. Like, it's totally up to you, but you can ask 2 questions and we're going to see if the answer is yes or no and why. So that is the reading today. Let's get started with your oracle cards to see what is changing for you. So to start off, we have the waxing gibbous moon. We have 7th house with relationship. We have risk. And live passionately. Okay, so I just want to mention that Libra energy could be significant because we do have the 7th house card, but let's get into the meanings of these cards. So with waxing gibbous moon, the vibe that this is giving me for my group number 3s is that within the rest of this year, there's probably not going to be nothing's really coming out of left field. It feels like there's no surprises or sudden changes. It more so feels like the energy that is currently in your life is just growing. And what you're currently working on is continuing to make progress. So there's a feeling of just maintaining what you're already working with rather than life throwing you random curveballs before the year comes to an end. With the 7th house and relationship here, I do think this is pretty straightforward. And this relationship here, it does look like a pretty close one, a pretty intimate one. Seeing how these hands are clasped together, the flowers are making me think of a relationship that is really blossoming, that is really opening up. So for those of you who are talking to someone, getting to know someone, I do think that within the rest of this year, you will feel your bond getting closer and closer. They might start to open up to you about certain things. You might start to feel more sure about where you stand in this person's life, like what you are to them and the place that you have in each other's lives. Of course, this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, although I was kind of reading it that way, especially with this red rose and the keyword of passion. It does kind of give the vibe of things are heating up between you and a special someone. I definitely feel that energy there. But if you are not interested in romance, this can totally be like a platonic relationship that is growing closer, someone that you've been wanting to get closer to. It could even be someone that you've wanted to network with, someone you've wanted to work with or collaborate with. You're kind of starting to build that personal bond with them. If there's a field of work that you've been trying to get into, this could also be you making more connections in that field and sort of getting your foot in the door. You're kind of securing your position in that field You're making your interest known to the right people. You're making your presence known. People are starting to recognize you. So you're getting close to this specific person that you want to get close to, or if it's more general, like, I want to be more in this group. I want to have more connections in this field. I can definitely interpret it that way as well. But what I can say for everyone is that it looks like there's really positive developments, not really changes, just developments. This is not, I know this reading is all about change, but it's more a feeling of just things are progressing. Things are progressing, things are developing from what you are already working on. If there's a big goal that you guys have in your career, or like a big personal goal that you have, I think that by the end of this year, you will be very close to achieving it. You may still have some loose ends to tie up. You may still have some finishing touches to put on something you're working on. But by the end of this year, you will be almost there. Which is fine. Like, maybe some of you were hoping that you would reach this goal by the end of the year. But the feeling is that you're going to be almost there. But there's nothing wrong with that. You can take a little bit more time to like finish the final stages of something, or to perfect something. There's a feeling of you're taking a bit of extra time to perfect things. Now, this is interesting because we have risk and live passionately. And we have the crow who's literally facing the passion, who's facing the red rose. So it is implying, or maybe not implying, maybe saying very loudly, that you will have to take some kind of risk to follow your passion, whatever that may be. Maybe this passion is the relationship. Maybe there's a little bit of risk involved in that. Maybe just diving in and really committing feels like a risk. Some of you may be traveling to meet a special someone, or a special someone is traveling to meet you. Or you could be entering into a long distance relationship, and that feels kind of risky. Or like entering into a relationship even though we know that we're gonna be long distance at some point. It's like there's something that makes you really happy, but in order to commit to it, you have to take a risk. And maybe that risk is that you're going to get hurt, or the risk is that, you know, things aren't going to play out the way you want it to, but you have to take that leap of faith for your passion. Interesting. So we're gonna get into the tarot now and see what else you need to know about these energies. For some of you, there could be something that you're really wanting to pursue, but you're afraid to do it. And what's happening by the end of this year is that you will meet someone who is doing what you want to do. And then that's making you feel more brave to take the risk. So just for one example to illustrate this energy, let's say there's someone who wanted to like quit their 9-to-5 and become a content creator. And they're feeling like that's really risky, which of course it can be quite a big risk, a big leap to take. And they're feeling scared and they're feeling alone. And then they make friends with someone who did exactly that. And so they feel less alone. They feel like, oh, this is actually possible. Like if my friend did it, then I can do it too. And maybe my friend can explain how they did it, what the process was like for them, what kind of emotions they dealt with, and like what was going through their head, and how they overcame the fear and the challenges that they faced. It's like with this holding hands, it feels like whatever scary thing you have to do to live the life that you want to live, you will feel less alone in that. Or for others of you, it could be that you and a friend decide to take this leap together so that it's less scary. But having certain people around you will make risky things feel less scary, will make following your passion feel less scary. Even if it's just like words of encouragement that a significant person gives you. I don't know if you're necessarily taking this leap of faith by the end of this year, but it's like you're feeling more confident about it. You're feeling more sure about it. Because again, this group doesn't seem to have any big major changes. It's more like the current energy is just growing and growing. But let's see what the tarot has to say. What else does group number 3 need to know about this energy? Okay, we have 2 coming out at the same time. We have the 7 of Wands. Defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, and choose your battles wisely. And then we have, so this is the Tower, and group number 2 got this as well. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. I'm realizing we have a lot of 7 energy going on. We have a 7 here, we have 16, which adds up to 7. We have the 7th house. So repeating 7s could be like a number that is significant for you guys. Intuitively, I feel like if you see repeating 7s, this is like a green light. It's a green light from your spiritual team to go for something. It's a sign that you're on the right path. And it's also like a sign of good luck and blessings coming your way. But I was talking about this with group number 2, that there's a leap of faith you have to take that could be scary, because what you're leaving behind is pretty good. So like, for example, you know, using that person as an example who wants to like quit their job to be a content creator, maybe their job is like pretty decent. Maybe they have pretty good pay. You know, it's not like, oh, I hate my job, which in a way would like weirdly make it easier to make this change. It's like the things I have to leave behind to do what I want to do, I don't hate them. I actually pretty like them. I actually like them pretty much. But I also just know that there's this deeper calling. There's this passion that is calling to me and I have to go for it. So I feel like in that way, your message is a little bit similar to group number 2. And then we have the 7 of Wands here, which is about a fight. I think that something that might happen with the rest of this year is that we're getting a little bit tired, because I think that you've been in this energy with the waxing gibbous moon of things being added to your life. So maybe you've been saying yes to more commitments in your life. You've been investing your energy into more and more projects. You've been in this energy of adding and adding and adding. And it's going to reach a point where your plate does get full and you just cannot do everything anymore. You know, the 7 of Wands, it's like we're coming up against adversity, and sometimes it makes me think of someone who's kind of in a workaholic energy, like they are burning the candle at both ends, or whatever that expression is. And what might happen at the end of this year is that, or by the end of this year, I should say, is that you realize I've been adding and adding and adding, which is awesome. But at some point I have to start subtracting things from my life, because I cannot do everything. You know, so like, to use myself as an example, let's say, you know, I was starting a bunch of new endeavors, like, oh, I'm gonna do my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna make a TikTok, and I'm gonna start a clothing line, and I'm gonna sell merch, and I'm gonna do Patreon content. Let's say I keep adding these things that I'm doing. Like, it might be okay for a while, but eventually I'm gonna be like, I cannot do all of these things. I need to take a break from something. And then I might decide to discontinue one of my endeavors. I might be like, okay, I'm not doing Patreon anymore, which, by the way, I'm very much still doing it. It's just an example. Like, if I kept adding things to my schedule, eventually something's gonna have to fall out, you know? So you might be reaching that, I don't know, breaking point's kind of a scary word, but just reaching that point where you're like, damn, I'm getting tired. And it's interesting that the number 7 is repeating, because there's like 7 days in a week. You might have a week or a couple weeks in a row where you're like, I was busy for 7 days this week. Like, I didn't have a day off. And maybe that will keep repeating, and you're like, okay, something's gotta go. Because this is just like, and Yeah, because with this tower, I was talking to group number 2 about this as well. You're leaving behind the tower before this tower is not on fire. It's not falling apart. So it's like you're being proactive. You're starting to lighten your load before you experience burnout. When you start to feel, okay, I'm getting a little bit tired. I notice that I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed. You're taking proactive steps to make your life simpler before you're like falling apart, basically. So I do think one thing that might change is like a lightening of your load a bit, a clearing up of your schedule. And it kind of feels like an easy process of elimination. Like if something's gotta go, it's gonna be that. And it should be pretty easy. You may also be ridding yourself of responsibilities that it's something that you kept showing up for and kept putting in work for, but that wasn't really adding anything to your life. And you're like, why am I doing this? This is just a waste of energy. You're like stopping things that were a waste of energy. Because these are both Mars, right? These are both Mars cards, and it does have to do with like what you focus your energy on, how you expend your energy, what you use your mental currency on. Okay, we have 2 coming out at the same time again. Is this a little foreshadowing about a couple being formed or a couple getting closer? We have the Dreamer, which is the Fool, and then we have the 4 of Air, which is the 4 of Swords. A leap of faith, follow your dreams and unexpected opportunities. And then we have time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. So it seems that there's some kind of opportunity coming your way that is related to something you're passionate about, but you didn't necessarily actively go looking for it. The 4 of Swords feels pretty passive, like this horse is literally sleeping. And this says unexpected. So it doesn't seem like an opportunity that you actively looked for or applied for. You were just at the right place at the right time. Maybe you had the right connections and it just presented itself to you. I wonder what that's about. And yeah, I do think like this is an Aquarius card, this is a Libra card. It definitely has to do with knowing the right people. So something else happening within the rest of this year is you are growing your networking circle. You are making more connections or strengthening your existing connections so that you know the right people to give you the right kind of opportunities. And I think you're also realizing doing things together or collaborating with others, it's like, what's that expression? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think you're realizing the value of teamwork and the value of collaboration. And there may be a realization of like you were struggling so hard when you were trying to do this on your own, but now that you've made some connections and you have some collaborators, things are just going so much more smoothly. Things are less work because many hands make light work, and things are just more enjoyable. There's a feeling of like you don't have to struggle on your own because you have all these brilliant minds to collaborate with. There's also a feeling with the 4 of Swords that whatever opportunity is being presented to you, it's not urgent. It's kind of just an open offer. So, for example, this wouldn't be someone saying, would you like to collaborate on this one specific project? And by the way, you have to answer me by the end of this week. It would be like, let's collaborate whenever you want. Like, I'm here, let's work together. It's like someone offering you this opportunity that doesn't expire. It's not like you better answer right now. It's whenever you are ready. So you can take your time, you can think about it. You know, you can go off and do your thing and come back and take this person up on their offer. It feels like an open-ended and indefinite invitation, like to work with someone. There's also an energy of like, if you've been following someone whose work you admire, they could be following you back. What else? What else does group number 3 need to know about changes coming in their life? Ooh. 7 of air. Group number 2 got this as well. There's like a few similarities between this group and group number 2. Plans that need revision, more going on than meets the eye, and poor timing. And again, this one says like allow more time before making a decision. I think this is just about, this can be kind of like an ominous card because it can talk about some sneaky stuff going on. But I think this is more just about taking your time to gather information. Yes, eventually there's a need to take a leap of faith, but that doesn't mean that you can't take your time and gain as much knowledge as possible to feel as equipped as possible. Like, I'm trying to give an example. Like, if you were going to perform on stage, then yes, you should take your time to practice. You should become as knowledgeable as you can on the thing you're going to perform or the subject you're going to talk about. Yes, you should do all these things and you should be granted the time to prepare yourself. But there is going to reach a point where you just have to go for it. With that being said, it doesn't mean you should just dive into it with no preparation and wing it. You know, it's a balance, right? It's not black and white. So do give yourself time to meditate on things, to research things, to prepare. Give yourself that time. You know, taking a leap of faith doesn't mean that you just have to run into it head first with no preparation or no knowledge. You're allowed. You know, this is not a test of like, how brave can you be? How bold can you be? No, you're allowed to prepare. You're allowed to have time to think about stuff. And I think your spiritual team just wants to remind you of that. I would even go so far to say, like, if any offer you receive is being weird about rushing you, well, what does being weird even mean? If you feel rushed to like dive into a new experience, or if you feel like someone's offering you something that is way outside of the scope of what you can do, you know, there's a difference between being like, okay, this is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I should believe in myself and challenge myself. And there's a difference between that and like, this is completely outside of what I can do, but I guess the universe wants me to do it, and just like diving into something completely scary and unfamiliar. You know, and it's not, yeah, I think you guys get the picture. There's a fine line, and if you're ever feeling like really scared or like, this is not in my area of expertise, this is not in my ballpark, like, you should listen to that gut feeling. You know, taking a leap of faith doesn't mean being completely unhinged and like diving into the deep end. And maybe, you know, with this energy of, you know, it not seeming like anything huge is happening by the end of this year, maybe that is because you're taking your time to practice for something, prepare for something, to think carefully about something. And that's very okay. And I actually think that that's encouraged from this energy here. Even going back to this relationship that's growing and wanting to commit to someone, like if someone offers that they want to be in a relationship with you, and you're like, you know, I want to take things slow, or I have to think about it because I know we're going to be long distance. Like, if you need time to think about those things, you will be allowed that time. You know what I mean? if anyone's like, you have to decide by the end of the day or I'm revoking the offer, then just like let the offer go. We don't want that energy. We want patient and understanding energy. We want someone who wants us to be comfortable and wants us to be sure of our decision. And also, like, someone might create a false sense of urgency, like to get you to commit to something. And your spiritual team wants you to be careful of that. It's like, you know, when people sell things online and they have a fake clock on their website that's like, the sale ends in 10 hours, so you better buy it now. But it's not actually, like, if you went back 10 hours later, the clock will still be counting down. It's like they're just trying to create this, oh, you better buy it now. Like, someone might do something like that with you, where they're creating a fake sense of urgency to make you lock into something. Oh, and I just realized another 7. Lots of 7s. Whoop. Then we have the 4 of Earth, which is also just like, we're staying put. You're really being encouraged. Like, yes, we're pursuing our passion. Yes, we're taking a leap of faith, but we're taking our time with it. Some of you may also want to like rush into it because you feel like your time is running out. You feel like it's too late, and it's really not. We have being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. I think something else that you're doing within the rest of this year is saving money. You're slowly but surely accumulating money. You're making good financial decisions. Again, you may not see like a huge surge in your finances by the end of this year, but you will see that it is going up. It is going up steadily. If you're celebrating holidays at the end of this year, you and your close ones might decide to have more low-key gatherings, like more kind of close-knit. Okay, we're not gonna buy each other huge expensive gifts this year. Like, we're just gonna, like, we'll make things for each other, or we'll have a budget. Like, nobody will buy a gift over this many dollars. Or we'll just spend time with each other because quality time is more important. There's a feeling of doing things more, I guess, modestly, or doing things in a more low-key way and not splurging over the holidays. I also think you'll be good at sticking to your routine and sticking to your good habits over the holidays. And by the way, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with taking a break from your routine over the holidays, or if you stop working towards certain goals, you're very much allowed to do that. But for some reason, I think that you are going to be sticking to stuff. And maybe it's because you've lightened your workload from stuff that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So at first, maybe this is just one example, but maybe you were like, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep up my study routine over the holidays? Or how am I going to keep up my exercise routine? But once you remove the unnecessary shit from your workload, you're actually going to find that it's not that hard to keep up with the things that you've wanted to do. And I also just feel like if you celebrate holidays, this holiday season, it's going to be a lot less pressure. You know, maybe you have this pressure every year of like, oh my gosh, I have to host like 10 people and I have to make like 6 courses and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like your family decides this year, like, let's just order food, or like, let's just have our own holidays in our homes. You know what I mean? We'll see each other another time, whatever it is. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's like, there's less pressure to spend all this money, or there's less pressure to entertain, and you're more just like staying low key. That's kind of the vibe. Anyway, so for the last part of this reading, we're going to take a look at these oracle cards. These are going to be messages and advice from your higher self. We have, you are loving. You are able to take care of yourself, which makes it easy to also take care of the ones you love. You treat your mind with kindness, and you are present and loving to your partner. Respect each other's boundaries and differences, and speak up about your emotional world. Interesting. We also have where you're going, not all can follow. So we're preparing to step into a new life next year, that's for sure. And I guess we're realizing that not everyone will have a place in that new life. We have ask and receive. You get what you have the courage to ask for. Ask for help or support. So there's definitely a feeling of you putting yourself out there to the right people, making good connections, and receiving help from them. And then for your Thera-pets card, we have life will always bend you, but trust me, you are too strong to break. Beautiful. Okay, so we are going to take this over to the extended now, where we are going to see timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. So anything we talked about here that you're curious to know exactly when it's going to happen, we will see specific timing prediction for 2 events. And then we will also answer 2 yes or no questions of your choice and see why the answer is yes or no. So if that sounds good to you and you'd like to join me in the extended, I'm going to have that link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment of this video. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also choose the topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I will also have my latest release linked down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, group number 3, and I'm sending lots of love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading, either directly or indirectly. I am sending love to your spirit guides, your spiritual team, your higher self, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, and welcome to your reading all about what is changing in your life before the end of 2023. So here is the full breakdown of today's reading. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. And here on YouTube, of course, we're going to see what's changing and how these changes will impact your life. And we're also going to get some messages and advice from your higher self. And then in the extended, we're going to get timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. So there's going to be a lot of things, a lot of changes that we talk about in today's reading, but I'm specifying 2 events of your choice. So this could be like the 2 that you're most curious about. We'll see specifically when they're going to happen. And we're also going to see what could influence the timing of these events. So is there something that could make them happen sooner? Is there something that could make them happen later on? And then we are also going to answer 2 yes or no questions of your choice, including the reason. So yes or no and why. So that is the reading today. And let's get started with your oracle cards to see what is changing for you. For my group number 4s, we're starting off with Aquarius. Then we have second house with resources. Then we have curiosity. And we have sophistication, the sophisticated life. Okay, I just have to say a very specific message that came through. For those of you who have been talking about business ideas with a significant other or with a friend, you should definitely go ahead with that. You guys have a good idea. Yeah, that just came through, but let's get into the cards now. So Aquarius energy could be significant, as well as Taurus energy, because we do have second house here. So an Aquarius or a Taurus person could be significant. But actually what came to my mind at first with the Aquarius card was that element of Aquarius energy that's kind of objective and emotionally detached. So something that could be changing by the end of this year is that you stop caring so much about something that once really bothered you. And more specifically, it's like you stop taking something so personally. There's something that just doesn't get to you anymore. So let's say, for example, you used to take rejection really badly, or if someone left a negative comment on your social media, you would like really think about it all day, and that's kind of changing. It's like you're just realizing like whatever BS people are talking about, that has nothing to do with me. That sounds like a them problem, and I'm not going to worry myself about it. There's a feeling of you just becoming more unbothered. There's also an example coming to my mind of, a family member who is constantly maybe saying backhanded, what is it called? A backhanded compliment, or they're making subtle passive aggressive remarks to you all the time, or someone in your workplace who just says little things to get under your skin, and it used to drive you crazy, and now you're just like, whatever, like it's not about me, it's a them problem. I'm just gonna let them be annoying. That's their issue to deal with, and it's just gonna roll right off of me. You're just becoming untouchable, undefeated by that kind of thing, because it's like you realized that it was never a personal issue. It was never really about you. You know what I mean? So that's definitely one thing that is coming through. Also, this might be a little bit specific, but there's something about you receiving investments. So if you do have a business idea, you could be receiving support from investors, or you could be getting a loan or a scholarship or some kind of financial aid. It's like people or entities see your potential and they want to invest in you. There's that kind of feeling. Someone is investing money in your development or in your growth, in your education, in your business, that kind of thing. Whatever it is that your goals and dreams are, you are receiving financial support for them. And there's 444 on the camera timer as I'm saying this, because Aquarius being associated with the 11th house in astrology, and also with the star card, it can talk about our hopes and dreams, especially those really big dreams that it takes a village to come true. And then with this arrow and with all of this money, it's like you're receiving, first of all, any ideas that you have for the future, I want to confirm to you that you're right on the money with what you're supposed to be doing professionally, educationally, in terms of your like personal development, in terms of the skills you're wanting to learn. You are very much on the right path. You have a very good idea of like the skills you need and what projects you need to be focusing on. So I just want to give some of you that confirmation. You're very much on the right path when it comes to like embodying your life purpose and pursuing your calling. And I think that 444 that I saw, it's really talking about something being divinely guided and you being protected on this journey. And you're going to find that the universe will materially provide for you so that you can realize your dreams. And I think that is coming in the form of people investing in you, like literally people financially supporting you. So you might be receiving a big loan or a big investment or some big kind of financial aid by the end of this year. And maybe this apple is also talking about education. So you may receive some kind of blessing with regards to your education by the end of this year, like getting accepted to a school, getting accepted to a study abroad program, getting the funds that you need to take a course that you want, or something like that, because it's really in, this is going to sound dramatic, but I'm hearing it's in the world's best interest. It's in the world's best interest that you get this education and do what you're going to do with it, because you're going to make such a positive impact on the world. Like once you graduate or once you move forward with this knowledge, and it's going to open so many doors for you. So your spiritual team really wants you to have educational or professional opportunities, and they're going to make sure that that happens. Something you may notice, not just in the rest of this year, but just in the next few months, is that you're starting to attract a different type of person into your life. It's like you're starting to attract more people who are very, very goal-oriented, very ambitious, and more specifically, people who are living the lifestyle that you want. I'm just looking at this sophisticated life. It does kind of look like someone who is enjoying the finer things in life, maybe someone who is classy, someone who is elegant, someone who's like making big moves in the world. And it's like you're gonna start attracting people like that because that is who you are becoming. And I do think that there's some kind of, and I know that this is very vague, but the message coming through is that there's gonna be an upgrade in your lifestyle by the end of this year. I also just, the date November 8th just came really strongly to me, and I don't even know, maybe when this video is up or when you're watching this, that date already passed, but November 8th just came to me really strongly. Interesting. And yeah, like we have curiosity with this crow getting through a door. I feel like this is definitely a metaphor for doors opening for you, and you also like getting your foot in the door, so to speak, and sort of seeing into a new world. In the rest of this year, it's like you're starting to see what you want your aspirational lifestyle to be and starting to make changes to your lifestyle. So there's definitely an energy of leveling up that is going on here. This sophisticated card, it also kind of makes me think of minimalism. Like the color white does make me think of simplicity, and there's not a whole lot in this card. It's just open air, you know? So there could be a decluttering that is going on in the rest of this year as well. I also want to tell you guys that Archangel Michael is definitely helping you, or is working with you right now. But yeah, there could be a decluttering that is going on, or just, this could even be a mental decluttering, you know, really assessing your priorities and being like, this is what I want to do. Because even this arrow, it feels like you're really getting on target. And I'm also hearing the path that you're going down, it requires you to be very humble. And the specific message, it's like not a lot of people are willing to, the way it's coming through is like not many people are willing to lower themselves. And I don't think lowering yourself has to do with accepting less than what you deserve. It's something about like being humble and paying your respects and being okay with having humble beginnings. Like something about that is important. Interesting. It's like most people who go into this path, maybe some people have a sense of entitlement, like they just want to start up here, but it's like, no, you have to work through these positions first, or there's some sense of having to pay your dues. And again, it's not about accepting mistreatment or like accepting less than what you're worth, but there's some work that people just want to already be done for them or something like that. And you have to kind of start from humble beginnings. And if you're willing to do that, you will be successful. Let me know in the comments if you know what that's about, because it kind of feels like a vague message to me, but I just had to mention that. Also, very random, but you know how in grocery stores, how like different produce has numbers on it? I never worked at a grocery store and I don't know the codes. I just know that 4011 is a banana. I just wanted to mention that. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, let's get into your tarot now. What else does group number 4 need to know about this energy? Or any other energies that group number 4 needs to know about? Ooh, we have the Queen of Earth, Queen of Pentacles. Thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. This is also a card that would definitely talk about abundance and prosperity coming your way. Making steps for your long-term future, living a comfortable lifestyle, knowing your worth. The Queen of Pentacles also sometimes makes me think of recovery. There could be a financial recovery that is happening by the end of this year. There could be a health recovery, an emotional recovery, which also makes sense because there's a feeling of getting over something that used to bother you a lot. So for example, if there was a failure or a rejection that you went through in the recent past that was really, really tough, like you could be finally emotionally recovering from that. We also have the Moon. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. There could be a change going on with your intuition, with your psychic abilities, or with your sleep and dreaming. So, for example, if you are, if you're the type of person who has trouble sleeping, something that could be changing by the end of this year is that you're starting to get really good sleep. If you're the type of person who does not remember their dreams at all, you could start to remember your dreams. But it could also go the other way. If you're the type of person to have really vivid dreams, something that might change is that you stop dreaming entirely because you're just in really, really deep sleep. There could also be a change in your sleep schedule. So maybe you used to be a morning person, like get up early, go to bed early, but now you've found yourself kind of staying up later and later. The first thing that actually came to my mind with this card is that in the rest of this year, you might have a lot of late nights. Like you're up until the wee hours of the morning because you're studying something that you're really, really passionate about, or like researching something that you're really passionate about, and you just kind of lose track of time because you're so into what you're doing, or like you're working on a project that's really exciting for you. There's a lot of late nights, not because you have to stay up, but because you just get like so into what you're doing. You could also notice a change in your intuition, especially noticing your intuition is strengthening. I'm hearing you might even kind of spook yourself a little bit with how accurate your intuition starts to become. The Queen, we also have a Queen, and then we have the Moon, which is, both of these cards have feminine energy in them. So getting in touch with and honoring your feminine energy could be a main theme for you in the rest of this year. We have balance. So this is the Temperance card. I should also mention, because we mentioned Aquarius and Taurus energy, we also have Pisces energy and Sagittarius energy here. Both of these are ruled by Jupiter. Like Pisces and Sag, are both ruled by Jupiter. So again, there's a feeling of blessings coming in your education, your educational path being blessed, or you being able to receive more blessings and receive more abundance in your life, the more education you gain. Seeking out new experiences will be very beneficial for you, especially when it comes to, again, education or travel or learning about other cultures. Pisces in the 12th house, it can even talk about faraway lands, and Sagittarius can talk about travel. Travel has been coming up quite a bit in today's reading. But whether it's travel or it could be more metaphorical, like learning about another culture, learning another language, I think that's something that could definitely bless you as well. I also do see you being conscious about your physical body and your physical health. And again, there could be some kind of improvement or recovery or healing in your physical health in the rest of this year. There could be improvements in your sleep, improvements in your posture is coming through, and your flexibility or stiffness. I'm seeing someone who's been like their muscles have been stiff and tense, and that has caused them pain and discomfort, to now their muscles are more relaxed and flexible, and so they don't experience as much pain, or they they prevent injury because they're more flexible. There's something like that. Temperance just gives the feeling of health and balance and really perfecting something. There's a feeling of you fine-tuning and perfecting something and finding something that really works for you. And again, that's like an energy that can be applied to so many different things, but it's like someone experimenting. So I'm going to try sleeping for 8 hours and see how I feel. I'm going to try going to sleep at 10 p.m. I'm going to try waking up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. and like see what works for me. I'm going to try eating this and see how I feel. It's someone, I see someone kind of experimenting, I guess, with what works best for them rather than just arbitrarily sticking to a routine. I'm going to try studying for 40 minutes and taking a break for 20 minutes, or I'm gonna try, just trying things and seeing how their body reacts and seeing how their mind reacts and really finding a routine and a lifestyle that works for them. There's also something in the rest of this year, you're just realizing how much you've matured. And I think a lot of like the improvements that you're making and becoming more emotionally resilient and becoming more of like an unbothered boss, a lot of that is just like time. A lot of that is just getting older. And I think you're feeling really proud of how you're getting older and really proud of how you're aging. That's something that's coming through too. One more for my number 4s. Woo! We have the 3 of fire, 3 of wands, and this is Aries energy. Abundance. We knew that, but it's nice to hear it again. Abundance, things look very good. Have patience at this time. Make long-term plans. There you go. Opportunities coming in. Money coming in. Again, like an opportunity for travel. Very interesting. These look quite similar, like a person just looking over the horizon and the world is their oyster. Some of you guys could be, this might be a bit more specific, but you could be getting a visa by the end of this year, or getting a permanent residency, or getting a passport, or getting like a citizenship somewhere. Or you could be like approved for a loan, or approved to get a house or get an office or something like that. Like you're making big moves for your long-term future and doors are opening for you. I think you're also, something that's changing is that you're becoming more assertive. And I think that also comes with you being more emotionally detached, because it's like in the past, maybe you would have been like, oh no, what if they say no? Or like, what if I'm being annoying? And you would just kind of like not speak up when you wanted or needed something. But it's like you just kind of stopped giving a shit. You're like, the worst thing that's gonna happen is they say no. And even if they are annoyed, like they're allowed to be annoyed. That's not the end of the world. They're an adult. They'll get over it. You know, it's not, I'm still gonna ask for what I want, you know? You just kind of don't, you're not so walk on eggshelly anymore, or like I'm a nuisance by existing anymore. You're like, I'm here, I deserve to be here just as much as everyone else, and if I want something, I'm gonna ask for it, and if you can give it to me, awesome, and if you can't, that's okay. And if you say no, like I'm just gonna take it with a grain of salt and move on to the next thing. So you're becoming more of like, more assertive, and I want to say more of an advocate for yourself, which is beautiful. So finally, we're going to look at these oracle cards. These are going to be messages and advice from your higher self. You show self-compassion. Practice patience, tolerance, and compassion with yourself. Don't shame yourself. Don't insult yourself. You deserve the same kindness you give to others. We also have support and respect aren't the same thing. Interesting. Because you can be respected without being supported, and you can be supported without being respected. And it's interesting. It's like your higher self wants you to keep in mind this distinction. One example that's coming to my mind is parents or family members who are like, I respect your choices for your life. I respect your decision. I respect who you are. But then they're not like actively supporting you. It's more like, I'll tolerate who you are. I'll tolerate your choices. Like, but they're not actually supporting you. And then an example of the flip side is like, for example, a public figure who has a lot of fans who technically do support them, but the fans don't respect that public figure as a person, or those fans don't respect that public figure's boundaries or like their own wishes. They just support the work that they make. They support them financially. Or I guess it could even be like parents who financially support you but don't respect you. Anyway, you can look at it many different ways, but your higher self is calling that distinction to your attention. Ooh, we talked about this. Declutter, clean, organize, and prioritize. Simplify your life. And again, there's a feeling of you like being awake in the middle of the night or being awake in the wee hours of the morning. And there's something about you really being able to focus during these hours because everyone's quiet. There's nothing going on and no one expects anything from you because everyone's asleep, which is coming up again, interestingly. And then for your Thera-pets card, oh my gosh, have I seen this one before? Look how cute. The message is, today is a brand new day and you are a brand new you. Good luck. Oh my God, I can't get over how cute this card is. So these are all your messages for this portion of the reading. We're gonna go over to the extended now, and we are gonna get 2 timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. We spoke about many things in this reading, but whatever is standing out to you the most, whatever you're the most curious about, we will get a specific timing prediction for that. And we'll also see what could influence this timing. Is there something that could make things happen sooner? Is there something that could make things happen later? And if so, what is that? And then we will also get the answer to 2 yes or no questions. We'll see yes or no and why. So if that is something that interests you and you'd like to join me in the extended, I'm going to have that link down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. However, if you're going to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also suggest topics for future videos. And I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything I do. I'm really grateful to have you here. And I'm sending lots of love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading directly or indirectly. Sending love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 5s, and welcome to your reading all about what is changing for you by the end of 2023. So here is the full breakdown of the reading that we're doing today. We have the reading here on YouTube as well as an extended. Here on YouTube, of course, we're going to see what's changing, how these changes will impact your life, and we're also going to get messages and advice from your higher self. And then in the extended reading, we're going to get timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. There's going to be a lot of events, a lot of different things coming up in this reading, so I'm specifying 2 events of your choice. So these could be the things that like stood out the most to you or that you're most curious about from the reading. We will see when specifically they're going to happen. And we'll also see what could influence the timing of these events. Is there something that could make them happen sooner? Is there something that could make them happen later? And then we're also going to answer 2 yes or no questions of your choice. So for the yes or no questions, they could be about something we saw in this reading, or they could be something completely unrelated. So that's totally up to you. And we're also going to see the reason why the answers are yes or no. So that is the reading for today. And let's start off with these oracle cards to see what is changing for you. So we have the 10th house, the 5th house with passion, resistance, and day delights. Okay, so I just want to mention with the 10th house and the 5th house, Capricorn energy or Leo energy could be significant. But with the 10th house here, for some of you by the end of this year, there could be a change in your career. So you could be entering into a different type of job by the end of this year, or you could be entering into a different role within your company. But with the 10th house and the 5th house next to each other, it's kind of making me think of, wait, is it? I'm just gonna adjust the lighting. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference, but anyway. It's making me think of like work-life balance, or the time that you spend working versus the time that you spend on leisure and play. And so something about that balance could be changing in the rest of this year. And I think that this change is not gonna be super welcome from you guys. I think you could be kind of resistant to this change. So one example of this that is coming to my mind right away is whenever I go back to Canada, the focus is less on my work and it's more about rest and spending time with friends and family. And sometimes there is a part of me that resists that, because there's this part of me that thinks that I need to be productive all the time, and that if I'm not working, I should feel guilty, or I'm wasting time, or I need to like make up the time that I lost when I should have been working. And so I kind of resist the energy that is more so encouraging me to rest and catch up with my loved ones and just chill and enjoy the moment. So you could be going through something like that where your sort of life is sort of taking you away from your work, and that could be something that you're resisting because you feel guilty about it. You feel like you should be working. It could also be the other way around, where life is taking you more towards work, and that's something that you're resisting because maybe you don't want to work that much, but you can't help it, and your workload is increasing, and you're like, I don't want to be doing this. I want to be focusing on my hobbies. I want to just be playing video games. I want to be watching my favorite shows. I want to just be relaxing. I don't want to be doing this work. So like life could be taking you one way or the other. I just feel like you are going to be in resistance to it for whatever reason. There's also another way that I can interpret this energy, which is some of you guys could be struggling to find passion in the work that you do. So you could be in a job that you just plain don't like, or it could be a situation where you used to find this joy and pleasure in your job and you're not really finding it anymore. For others of you, it could be that you are trying to make a career out of your passion and you're experiencing some resistance with that. Whatever the case may be, I do think with this delight card that the situation you're going through is a blessing in disguise, and I do believe that it's only temporary. So it could just be a temporary situation where the energies are kind of weird and then things will get better. Or this discomfort that you're feeling could be a catalyst for you making positive change in your life. So this does kind of feel like there is a silver lining to whatever is going on, but that you're kind of in resistance to it. So you know, like going back to the example of me struggling to just relax and enjoy time with my loved ones because I feel like I should be working. It's like, if I stop resisting that, I could have a really amazing time. Like, this delight is available to me if I stop being in resistance to what is, if I stop being in resistance to the reality of the situation. Or for someone who's not feeling the passion in their work anymore, maybe they're resisting that because they feel like something is wrong with them, or they feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't find joy in this anymore, then like, what does that mean for me? Who am I anymore? But maybe, you know, if they just ride the wave of what is and validate how they're feeling, they could go and explore other options and find a different job that's going to bring them even more joy. So, you know, whatever's going on here, it's like your higher self is trying to bring something to your attention about something that needs to change in your job, or something that needs to change in your work and leisure balance. And you're just it looks like you're being a bit stubborn about it. And that's not a judgment. That's just kind of the way the ego is. The ego tends to want things to stay the same. It likes security, it likes predictability, but there is an opportunity here for you to find greater joy in what you do. So let's get into the tarot and see what else you need to know about these energies, or if there are any new energies that would like to present themselves. What else do my group number 5s need to know? What else do group number 5s need to know? So interesting, we have release, and then we have the 3 of fire, which is the 3 of wands, the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. And then we have abundance, things look very good, have patience at this time, make long-term plans. These cards coming out together, I feel, is so telling, because this is about an ending and letting something go. And then the 3 of wands is about welcoming in new opportunities. Wow. So many of you guys will be experiencing a change in your job, like the type of work that you're doing, or like you're going to work for a different company. I feel like a lot of you guys might even step into a completely different role. And your spiritual team is saying that you've outgrown a certain role because you're entering into a new stage of your spiritual journey. Some of you guys maybe have gone through a spiritual awakening, or you've made some advancements in your journey and you've grown, and whatever you've been doing up until now, it's just not serving you anymore. And there's nothing bad about it. It's just not serving the version of you that you're becoming. Like, it's time for a new adventure. It's time for a new challenge. Like, this is Aries energy as well. And Aries is all about diving headfirst into new situations. Aries loves a challenge. Aries loves to be stimulated. Aries loves adventure. And I think your soul is just craving for a new adventure. I think your soul wants to shed their old skin, or like shed their old identity and move into something completely new, and kind of wants to try playing a new role in this world. And it's just so cool how these came out together. Like, we're letting go of something and then allowing something new to come in. So yeah, a lot of you are going through like career change, or you're going to notice changes in what excites you, changes in what you're passionate about. So some things you were passionate about could be kind of dying away, or kind of losing interest. And then on the flip side, like a new passion is bubbling up for you. There's something, I'm just hearing like something that there's something you've been a consumer of for a long time, that now it's time for you to try being on the creating side of it, if that makes sense. So just kind of a very simple example, but maybe you've always loved confectionery, I think is how you pronounce it. You've always loved like baked goods and you've always been a consumer of them, but now it's time for you to try your hand at making them. Or you've always loved watching, maybe you've always loved watching documentaries, and now it's time for you to try making your own like video essays, or make your own commentary videos, or make your own mini documentaries. Like whatever you've always been on the receiving end or just consuming it, now it's time for you to be on the other side of it. Maybe it's even like tarot videos, like you've always watched them and now it's time to try making them yourself. It's that kind of vibe. Because I just heard like your spiritual team was saying, if you're wondering what this new passion is that you'll feel called to do, like pay attention to what you've been consuming, or pay attention to what you've been passively enjoying. Like you're not so actively into it yet, but you've just been passively enjoying things recently. In there might lie what your next like big passion is going to be. So it doesn't seem to be completely out of left field. Oh, we have two coming out together again. Oh my gosh, we have, look, the Ace of Wands, an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, change your life now. Exactly. And this is a new inspiration. This is a new passion. And it's literally talking about like changing your life and your career. Like this is a new beginning, the aces in general. And then we have the Knight of Swords, events that occur with great speed. So this could be quite sudden for a lot of you, or like once you figure out what it is that you want to do, things are just going to move really, really quickly. Like I'm just seeing, for example, someone who from the moment they admitted to themselves, like I'm not happy in my current job, to the moment that they got a new job, it could literally be like a week. And they're like, I can't believe just a week ago I was sitting in my old job and not feeling fulfilled. And now here a week later, I'm like in this new thing that I'm super excited about. It seems like once you just decide, or once you're honest with yourself about not being completely satisfied, things are going to change really, really fast. Also, something that could be happening by the end of this year is an admirer of yours coming forward. And I don't think, I was going to say secret admirer at first, which I guess it could be, like some of you could be surprised, but I think a lot of you won't be so surprised. I think someone has a crush on you and like, or someone really admires you. And by the end of this year, they're just coming forward and like spilling out everything that they've been feeling about you for the past months, and how they've wanted to get closer to you, and how they've admired you so much. And for some, how they've had a really big crush on you. Maybe it's mixed. Maybe some of you will be like really surprised. Like, I had no idea this person admired me. I had no idea this person had a crush on me. But others of you, you're not gonna be so surprised. You might be surprised at the extent of their feelings, like how deep the feelings go. Like maybe you suspected someone had a little crush on you, but then when they really get to talking about it, you're like, damn, I didn't know that it went this deep. So yeah, there's a feeling of an admirer coming forward. What else does group number 5 need to know? Ooh, we have the High Priestess. Listen to your intuition, have patience, and consider carefully what you want before acting. So that's interesting. There's kind of a similar message in these two cards. This one says, consider carefully what you want before acting. This one says, take time to carefully review your options. This kind of feels, with the High Priestess, it often feels to me like things are coming to you. Things are falling into your lap, things are finding you, rather than you actively pursuing them. And I feel like in this case, clarity will come to you, not necessarily through, and I'm not discouraging you from doing these things, but I don't think clarity is going to come to you from like doing research or talking to people. Again, I'm not saying not to do those things, but I think you'll find that at the end of the day, the answers were inside you all along. And they'll probably come to you in moments that are quiet, in moments where your mind is idle, like when you're in the shower, for example, or when you're in a meditation or in a dream. Answers might come to you in a dream. It feels more like the answers are coming from somewhere inside of you. And they're definitely coming like with this, like, have patience, listen to your intuition. I think there is a slowing down that needs to happen so that the answers can come to you. And that's why for those of you who life is calling for you to rest and you're resisting it because you're like, no, I need to be busy, I need to be productive, I need to be working. Like, it's so important that you give yourself this quiet time, because you have no idea the messages that could be trying to present themselves to you. And when you keep like forcing yourself into busyness and productivity, you could be missing the chance to hear those messages. I think that there could be a change in your intuitive abilities by the end of this year, or there could be a change in your spiritual practice that is actually causing you to rely more just on you, just on your own intuition. So one example of this is like if you're someone who watches pick a card readings pretty frequently, like maybe you watch them every day. By the end of this year, I feel like you will just watch them sparingly, or you might not even watch them at all. Something else that might change is maybe you pull cards for yourself and you're realizing that you're relying on cards less and less. And there's nothing wrong with using cards and divination tools, by the way. That would be very weird of me, like a card reader, to say that there's something wrong with that. But it just seems like you don't need them as much anymore, is what I'm trying to say. I think by the end of this year, you'll find that you're relying a lot less on external tools or external guidance to make decisions, because you'll just find that your inner voice tells you. You're like, in the past where you would have like pulled a few cards to see, now you're like, but I already know. Like, I already know what my inner voice is telling me. And sure, yeah, I could get confirmation from the cards, but like, I don't really feel like I need it. I already know what I want to do. That's the kind of vibe. I think you're just noticing more and more that you can trust your inner voice. Yeah, I mentioned Capricorn and Leo energy. We also have Aries and Scorpio energy here, which could be significant. What else do my group number 5s need to know? Okay, we have the King of Swords. That's so funny. That's never happened to me before. It flipped over but didn't come out. And I was like, okay, I'll make a note of that. Like, I'll make a note that the King of Swords flipped over but didn't come out. And then I went to keep shuffling and it like, boop, 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 it almost like hopped out. It like jumped. Okay, let's take that one too. The Nine of Swords. So we have the King and the Nine of Swords. So whoever's coming forward, like, there's a feeling like they're gonna regret it, because they are coming on very strong, okay? It seems like someone is coming on quite strong to you, and then they're kind of regretting it, as if they said too much. So you might notice someone come on really strong and then pull away. And there's kind of a feeling like they're embarrassed because maybe they feel like they were too vulnerable or they said too much. And that's not to say you feel that way about what they said, but it kind of seems like they got carried away in a passion. And then they're like, oh man, maybe I made group 5 uncomfortable, or maybe I shared a little bit too much there. And then you'll kind of see them pull away after that. But anyway, let's see what we have. So King of Swords, brilliant, impartial, professional, diplomatic. Speak your mind with confidence. Seek out professional advice. Balance mental and emotional considerations. And then we have expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. For those of you who struggle with your mental health in general, but especially like if you struggle with anxious thoughts, negative thoughts, just intrusive thoughts, if you tend to like overthink or always expect the worst or like get stuck in a loop of thoughts, you could be, it feels like we're healing from this, but through someone's help, like with seek out professional advice. So some of you guys could be like working through things with a therapist or reading books that are very helpful to you. There's a feeling of you're not just battling your brain on your own. First of all, you're not battling your brain at all because your brain is not your enemy. You're seeing your brain as your friend, something that you want to take care of, and seeking out information that can help you deal with negativity or deal with anxiety or deal with spiraling thoughts. Seeking out information that can help you be a better friend to your brain, or that can help you work with your brain better. So you may notice a change in your mental health by the end of this year for the better. You may notice that you're experiencing less anxiety. If you're someone, and I hope this is not the case, but if you're someone who has panic attacks or anxiety attacks, you might notice that those are happening less frequently, or that they're not happening at all, hopefully. And you're like, wow, I haven't had a panic attack in like a month. That's awesome. You may notice that you are sleeping better and that you're more present in your day-to-day life because you're just not worrying. You're not in like a anxiety spiral. So yeah, it looks like you're receiving help through a professional or through just seeking out information. Yeah. Is there anything else with these? Oh, there could be someone that, because, you know, it seems like you're going through an epiphany of discovering what it really is that you want to do. And while on one hand, I think you're excited about it, there could be someone in particular that you are afraid to tell for some reason. It has the energy of, for example, being afraid to tell your boss that you want to quit, or being afraid to tell a parental figure about this change in your plans, like kind of being afraid of the judgments that might come your way. And, you know, with expecting the worst, you might expect people to like freak out or to get really angry at you, and you might receive, I'm not saying this because like I'm intuitively picking up on this, just as a speculating human, you might receive some questioning, you might receive some pushback, you know, but you know, usually the Nine of Swords is like, you think it's going to be the end of the world, and then it's not, because your brain is like blowing things out of proportion. So I don't think any negative reaction you're afraid of is either not going to happen, or it's not going to be as bad as you're thinking. But yeah, there's a feeling of like, when you decide what you want to do, you're like really excited, but then you're like, oh man, now I have to tell people about this. Even like when I decided that I wanted to take a break from school, I was scared to tell my teachers, which is weird because it's like, they're not my parents. They're not going to be upset, but still I was scared. And maybe it's less about the person being intimidating, and it's more just about when I tell them, that makes it real. It could just be something like that, but there's a feeling of like, I'm afraid to tell people. That will of course be overcome, but just something that I'm seeing. So for the last part of the reading, we're gonna look at these oracle cards and get some messages and advice from your higher self. Ooh, you attract what you need. Call a loved one, ask them out for a drink, write a postcard, tell a friend they matter. On some days we seek companionship, and on others, the upkeep of our mental health requires solitude. Keep a steady balance to radiate the peace you wish to attract. Oh, I am a magnet for an unlimited abundance of love, health, and money. I love that this card talks about being a magnet, and this card talks about attracting what you need. There's manifestation vibes. And I think this is also just about trusting yourself and not questioning your methods. You know, I think when it comes to manifesting our desires, we tend to think about like, what is the right and wrong technique? You know, should I be thinking about this a lot? Should I be focusing on it a lot, or should I just let go? Should I be talking to people about this and speaking it into existence, or should I be keeping it to myself so that other people's intentions don't get mixed in? And honestly, I think the answer for you guys is to trust yourself, because like, you're really entering into this high priestess energy. You're not gonna, like, let's say even if you saw someone be like, if you want to manifest, do not do this. But if it feels right for you to do it, that person telling you not to do it is not even going to affect you. Like, for example, sometimes you'll see people being like, do not manifest during retrograde, or like during an eclipse or whatever. But if you in yourself feel like it's a good time to manifest, you're going to do it regardless of what people outside are saying. If someone's saying, don't tell people about your manifestation, but you're like, fuck it, I want to because it feels good to talk about it and I feel safe, then just do what you need to do. Do what feels good, because you are the high priestess and you know what the right method is for you. And you're going to manifest it anyway. And you know that. The high priestess knows that whatever she desires is secured for her, and she is not bothered by what anyone on the outside might say. So this is just confirming you're a manifesting magnet, and you'll always do the right thing for you. We have patience. Great things take time to manifest quickly. Trust more than you doubt. So you are manifesting and you are trusting in your own process. And oh, your higher self came through so clear. You're doing well. Keep going. You are doing it right. You are on the right path. So we're going to move over to the extended now. So we are going to get timing predictions for 2 events of your choice. Whatever has stood out to you, whatever you're the most curious about from this reading, we'll see specifically when it is going to happen. And we'll also see what could influence the timing of this event, what could make it happen sooner, what could make it happen later. And then we're also going to answer 2 yes or no questions and why. And the yes or no questions can be about anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be about something we spoke about in this reading, so that's completely up to you. But if that sounds good to you and you'd like to join me in the extended, that's going to be linked down below in the description as well as in the pinned comment. However, if you'd like to leave the reading here, I want to say thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. You can also decide on topics for future videos. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, to your higher self, to anyone who appeared in this reading, either directly or indirectly, and to all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!